Right. Hi, everyone. Sorry for the slight delay. I was just making sure everyone's gone online and logged on. I'm Clint, Microsoft Student Ambassador for the RI Institute of Technology. I'll be joined soon by, I believe, Tinashe, who is the Google Developer Student Club's lead for, again, the RI Institute of Technology. Today's session is pretty special. We already got, let's see. Okay, admit. Great. We already have two of our guests already online, which is amazing. Just waiting for a bit more people to log online, maybe, but I think it will work out. Another guest has just shown up, so I think everything's going great so far. All right, right off the bat, for those of you who don't know or are new, Microsoft Student Ambassadors is student developer community endorsed by Microsoft that is aimed at teaching young people and take new skills, exposing them to opportunities like hopefully this one, and allowing them to grow in the fields that they want to specialize in, right? Mainly tech, but also even non-tech fields. It's often said that every company is a tech company these days, and that's because almost every company tends to use tech. So really, there's so much room to grow, and there's so much room to do a lot, really. So yeah, let's just try and get into today's event. Um, as usual, it's hybrid, so some of you are joining in person. Thanks for coming. For those of us who are joining online, thanks also for being here. Your time, your attendance, your data is very much appreciated. But yeah, I think I'll just try and kick it off. Sorry, Tinashe, are you online? Okay, I think. Sorry. You can't unmute yourself. Okay, let me unmute you and oh yeah, I think it needs me to allow you to present. Okay. So I think you can now unmute. Yeah, you can try and speak. Now let me mute myself and then see if you can just jump in and say a few words. Very sorry, by the way, for my camera. My camera is personally not working. It's the reason why those of you who are online cannot see me. But don't worry, I have bathed. I look normal. This is not me hiding for whatever reason. But please, let's continue. Tanaja?
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. So excited to be here and I'm glad to see everyone that's in attendance and even those that have joined us here at HIT. And hopefully, we won't have any disturbances today because, yeah, this has been tripping the whole day and Wi-Fi challenges. But thank you, Clint, for the amazing introduction. Looking forward to hearing a lot of tech stories and a lot of tech journeys because there's a lot we can learn from those. I'm excited to see the guests that are already part of the panel right now and looking forward to what they have in store for us. And today, are we going to write any code today, Clint? I just wanted to know.
Sorry,
You are muted.
Sorry, today we're not writing any code. Today is really about listening to people who have gone through the world of tech, learned from the world of tech, made amazing things happen through tech, and that's going to be the main focus of today. One of our presenters is already, in fact, two of them are already here, Heather Mawunga and Mr. Kuda Paratzai. I'll check in with Kuda in a bit, but maybe, I don't know, Tinashe, you can tell us about DSC for a second whilst we make sure everything's set up, and more people are still sending me WhatsApp messages about to connect or on their way. So I think we give them like 3 minutes and then we just jump right in. Sure.
Sure thing. And To those who don't know what DSC is or what DSC is all about, so DSC is just basically a tech community, just created to, just have students join in and, create awesome tech together. And it's a great platform to learn about code from, even if you're an absolute beginner, even if you're an apprentice or you're a mid-level developer, you stand a chance to actually learn stuff from your colleagues. And there's so much opportunities to find, like venture capitalists, when you join in competitions like the Solution Challenge. We also have community outreaches where we just go out to people probably less or underprivileged, and we just show them how to use tech and code, because obviously they might not have the same exposure that we've had. So it's also a platform or a club or a community that allows you to reach out to other people. Okay, let me just switch on my camera right now.
Let me stop this. You can actually see Tinashe's camera. He's a little shy, but trust me, he's very friendly. Figured you can at least see him, so you can see me. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, let's put that on live.
All right. So as I was saying, the Developer Student Club program is like a Google initiative that's designed to provide a space for students to view their tech or their applications or enhance their web development skills and increase their knowledge while solving local problems or business problems. So the basic that the aim or the goal for DSC clubs is to just go out into the community, find out where the problems are, and just try to come up with solutions that tackle them using the technology or the skills that are at our disposal. Because I understand most of us are still students and we're still learning. And the good thing about it is, whilst you're still learning, you get some experience, awesome experience to, try out new things, try out new tech, because you're not yet busy doing you don't have any other commitments like work. So all the time you have, most of it, you're just spending it finding out new things, trying out new things, and getting to know what you really like and take. And it also gives an opportunity to learn and get mentorship from, like, say, more senior developers. Like in this case, you find some part fours who've done some amazing projects. You find some part fours who've traveled, and they have so much experience and so much things that they've learned outside, and that they try to bring to you so that your tech journey is as smooth and easy as it was for them. And I think that's the basic or the building block for today's meeting, is try to, because amongst the presenters, there's some who are like DSC alumni and the current GTG lead as well. So it's like you get a chance to get mentorship from people like that, getting to hear their stories. And what I like about them is they are all unique, and not everyone is like the direct same path. So hearing that also gives an assurance that even if you don't seem like you're on the right path, even if it doesn't seem like you're not learning as quick or you're not going as fast, because the tech industry is just a fast-paced industry. There's a lot of things to learn. After every couple of months, there's a new tech that's on the rise, that's trendy, and you also want to get on that, but you haven't mastered something in the past, and you always feel like you're left behind or you're lagging somewhere. But the beauty about it is, hearing these stories, you find that even with the most basic of skills, you can start from small and still make a huge impact and develop yourself and grow yourself as a developer moving forward. But what I like most about both these tech clubs, when you have DSC and Microsoft and Cohesion and working together, it's a chance for you to learn from both sides of the coin. It's not the thing about tech is you might find yourself working in Google today, and next week you're at Microsoft. And I've seen most of my mentors' resumes and their CVs. They're always showing that they haven't been in one place, and that's the beauty about it. You get to learn from all sides and all aspects of tech, and also something to notice, to never restrict yourself to just one thing. Try to learn as much as you can, try to get onto as much as you can, and that way you grow your knowledge and you grow your skills. And trust me, that works best and helps you even when you finally get a job, when you finally leave university. You have attachment experience. In some cases here in Zim, it's not as ideal, but you've got that attachment experience, but that experience you get from your community clubs and working in an environment that is less hostile and more friendly. You get to learn more, and you get to learn at your own pace, which is what I like about DSC and MSA. And with DSC, you have your study jams, and they give you step-by-step tutorials, step-by-step guides, and step-by-step what you call them, language focused tutorials, where you just, if you're interested in mobile alone, you can just venture into mobile. And in mobile specifically, you have your material that's designed for absolute beginners, and you have material that's designed for your intermediate developers. And with MSA, you have Microsoft Learn, which offers a robust, like a very broad set of things you can learn from, not just development, but also IT focused. So what I would like to just maybe encourage people is to just get on as much as you can. And when you feel like you have so much on your plate, learn a bit more, but don't forget to just make sure that you're also making projects, because there are benefits to making projects. If you make an awesome project, if you make an awesome solution or tech-based solution, you get a chance to present it at the solution challenge or the Imagine Cup, get a chance to win and get awesome prizes. I don't know, Clint.
So I think that's a large part of it. Thanks again. I think we're going to actually go into what I believe might be our first presenter. Could any luck on your end? Yay. Okay. So I think our first, let me actually bring up a slide because I don't want to just not do due diligence. Let me see here. You guys can see this. Let me put this for the people on the live. What? Yeah, I do. Oh, yeah, the PowerPoint. It's not connecting. Okay, sure, that works. Let me see here. Let me share my screen. Let's see. I think I'm having a light issue here with screen sharing. There you go. Okay. Send this live. Right. So, as I was saying, our first presenter will be Kudaparazai, who's just setting up for a minute, but maybe a quick recap on maybe who he is for those of you who are interested. He'll probably fill you in on all the details. I just know the Cliff Notes version. Former HIT student. I believe it was software engineering or it was computer science. Yeah, software engineering major. Went on to start his own startup, which is called DevZW, which is actually pretty awesome. And right about now, we'll be coming up to present. So, wait, do you need? I'm not going to use the slide because. Okay, yeah, you just trying to use my PC. Okay. Maybe you can use yours because it has a camera. Is that okay? Yeah, I think you can use Tinashe's machine because really like to see some of these guys and to like probably, feel more interactive and more connected to them. So let me, Tinashe, you can present, you can just say present. Let me share your screen from there and then I can get right in. Okay. So again, as Tinashe was saying, we have a huge, so we have 4 speakers today. We have Mr. Akin Mini, we've got Mr. Kudaparazai, we've got Ms. Heather Maunga, we've got sorry, Ms. Rainbow Hakata. All these guys come from very, very, very different backgrounds. And they've tried out different things in tech. Some people are working here in Zimbabwe, some people are working literally around the world, some people are working in other parts of Africa. It's a pretty awesome group, and it's all people who have their own very unique stories. And this is why I'm very, very excited to have all these people here, because there's no one path in tech. I think maybe, if anything, the best thing about it is that there's no one path. There's no one way to go through all these things. And once you realize that, once you see that, that's when you can really start to like take advantage and jump right in, because you can see that, oh, there's space for me to do this thing, even though even though maybe I come from a certain type of background, even though I might not have the highest degree score marks, even though I do have the highest degree score marks, but not exactly the highest amount of practical experience. It's a long journey, but it's one that's often very, very rewarding. And we just hope to keep inspiring you guys to go out there and learn and do. Right, I think Kuda's right about ready. So let me stop sharing my screen, and could all be presenting from Tinashe's screen. So let's do that. Okay, let me put on live.
Hello, everybody. I hope you can all hear me. First of all, I just want to say it's a pleasure to be part of this group.
Yes.
Sorry, any echo?
Huh? There's an echo. I'm sorry. Let me turn off my mic.
Okay, so I'd like to say that I'm very grateful to be part of this community, and I feel humbled to come and tell you my story of how I started. And so my name is Kudapasha Paradzai. You can find me on Twitter at Kudapara, even on GitHub. That's the same username I use. So I was introduced to computers when I was in grade 3. That's when our school bought a bunch of computers for us to use, and we used to play games that helped us type, that helped us do quick maths. I remember this program, which was called like Navis Beacon, where you'd be like shooting characters, but you'd be typing, and you get measured against that. So at that point, I actually started being interested in computers, and I managed to convince my dad to get me a laptop when I was in grade 6, because I wanted to play games, and also I was trying to do art on the computer. So from then on, I just was interested. I was obsessed with playing games and all of that. But then one day, my dad came to me like in 2012 when I was in Form 2, and I was like, you're spending too much time playing games, and I know you enjoy the games, but wouldn't it be nice if you were the one making the games, and that actually track code. And yeah, I became curious, and he gave me a thick book. I think it was Visual Basic Essentials. It was like an introductory book, but it was big, a lot of pictures and examples. And over the next year, I spent that time just improving my, like learning new things. Like, when you're being introduced to a programming language, everything is weird, everything is strange, but with time and practice, you get better at it. So I started making fake viruses and installing them on my friends' computers. They would show like some pop-up alerts, and it was a good prank. And because I was doing that, it was fun, and I always wanted to learn better tricks. But then it came a time like when I was in high school, I was like one of only 3 people in our classroom to have a laptop. And at that point, everybody wanted to use my laptop to like watch movies and play games and all that stuff. So I think those were the days when Windows 8 was out. So I made a fake Windows 8 program that would like show that updating screen, like Windows is updating in that spinner. So anytime someone wanted to come and use my computer, that would come up, and there was no way to close it unless you type like a secret key phrase. So I then turned that program into a library surveillance system. Those softwares that we have in the internet cafes, which limit the time. So I just use that same concept of that app that blocks the screen and you can't go anywhere else. and then I put like a password field so students would actually log in, and the librarians would have insight into what they were doing on the computers. And then I used that same program for my final A-level program, sorry, A-level project. And yeah, I then passed I did maths, computer science, and physics at A-level. And then soon after, I started working under my father as an intern because my dad ran a surveying company which did like some programming jobs on the side, and that's where I got like some of the basic skills that I'm using now. That's when I was introduced to the web. Before that, I was just developing Windows applications, and I got started with Node.js, Vue.js, these web frameworks that we come to love. Back then they were very hard to install, and the Windows. So dive into the source code just to see what some of the things are running like. And then anytime I got something, like I solved a problem, I then started posting on Twitter. And that became like a habit because I saw like the other people were interested in that stuff. And back then when I was in high school, people used to laugh at me. They used to say, "You're a geek, you never get a girlfriend." But yeah, I wish they could come and see me now. Because at that point, I started posting on Twitter. I started posting on Facebook sometimes, but Twitter was like the place where all the developers were. So I started engaging with other local developers, and through that, when I was now actually at HIT, the university, my lecturers actually noticed that, and then there was a hackathon hosted by Potras, where we had to actually go to Switzerland, and because of the way I was putting myself out there, they knew that I had some kind of skill to be able to handle that. So I was the one who was chosen to represent it, and I was with the other guys, a girl from UZ and a guy from NAST, and we went to Switzerland. It was a conference for the International Telecommunications Union, and we came out first in that hackathon, and they gave us a prize, and that prize was to return to Switzerland in August for like a full month of summer school. So some of those things that I was going through as I was doing my tech journey, like winning hackathons, having people appreciate the work that you are doing. At this point, I'm not making any money, so the motivation is mostly internal, and the impact that I'm making on other people's lives, and just winning, that felt good. So when we came back, I then worked at the Tech Hub at the university campus for my internship. And then after that, I wanted to come back to school, but I found an opportunity at Fresh Ideas, and I saw their tech stack, and I was like, this is interesting. The Zimbabwean tech space, it's at a prime time, and I joined them, and I deferred from coming back to school. So I like a whole year where I was just focusing on code and improving my skills and applying myself in real world scenarios. We would come up with a new idea almost like every day, and yeah, it's not a joke that they're called Fresh Ideas, but that's how I used to like test different frameworks, different programming languages, and just finding out what problem works for whatever particular solution. And then at the time when I was supposed to go, August of 2021, I found a link. I think I'll post. I don't know where can I type something.
The question and answer section?
Oh, okay. So yeah. So I'll post that link in the question and answer segment. There's a link that I found where you can actually go online and find all the remote jobs that are being offered, and you can actually see like the salary ranges, and you can choose whatever jobs you want according to your skill level and the way that you're applying yourself. So I went on that website. I found a couple of jobs. Some of them didn't some of them respond. They wanted to hire a senior engineer, a senior developer. And for you who actually might not have an idea of what that means, a senior developer is someone who has 10 years of experience. And I didn't have that, but I applied anyways. So they gave me we first went through the rounds of the CVs and filtering from what we had submitted to them. Then I was chosen to the next round, which was the technical interview, of which surprisingly they actually paid us to do. I got a big chunk of change from that interview alone. It was almost triple my salary. And I was just shocked that this is happening. And then I did everything I could to try and ace that interview. And yeah, they got back to me after like 2 weeks and said, you know what, we want to find someone who is at a more senior level for the role that we're choosing. But the way that you have written your code, you have shown that you have some of the qualities that we are looking for. And then they hired me. So I'm working there full time remotely from my bedrooms in my PJs. And yeah, it's a fun experience.
So congratulations to the job. Secondly, congratulations for being able to work in the pieces. I think that's the key for it.
Yeah, if you want the secret, I'll tell you in the question and answer segment. So I'd like to say that if you're in this field, let your curiosity drive you. Sometimes you might want to look at what's popular these days, and of course that's important. Say you're now doing like a critical project that requires like capital and other manpower, but for your own growth, if you like doing something in Python, just write some scripts in Python, watch tutorials in Python. If you are interested in data science, do everything you can, find people who are in the same field as that, and then you build your networks, and eventually those skills will intersect and someone will find them valuable. And also your GitHub is very important. Always have something that shows that you are self-driven. You can write good code, like with comments, indentation, all that stuff. So I would like to say, yeah, in short, that's what I have.
Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna leave what's essentially oh no, you can stay there for a minute. Sorry. What's essentially a question and answer for just like the next 5 minutes. If everyone once everyone else like properly joins in, we can have like a bigger discussion right at the end. But for now, just like a mini question and answer from like everyone who's in the audience and watching. So everyone in class or anyone who's online. For those guys who are online, there's a question and answer section in your Teams. If you just look at, I believe it's the top right corner, there's like sort of a chat icon with a question mark on it. Click that, you can write whatever question you want, we can publish it and see it, and we can ask. We already have one, I think. Okay, so okay, yeah, let me actually publish this one. It says, hi Kuda, it's from Tatenda, by the way. Thank you, Tatenda. Hi Kuda, I am a former Andersonite and I am greatly inspired. Is it possible to start from scratch? I think that's his main question. Is it possible to start from scratch?
Yeah, it's actually very much possible because I had an advantage because I started much earlier, so it was quite easy for me to grasp the concepts. But I've seen people who I've seen from the days when they couldn't code to the time when. So this thing about tech and developing, it's almost like learning a new language. You can always learn a new language, even like when you're old, but it's more about how you apply yourself, how many times you practice, and just know that most of the knowledge or the information that you need, you learn on actual
Good. One. Maybe I can take one from the
Not before.
or from the people in the actual class before we like go to another one that's online. We already have a second one, but it's anyone want to ask anything? Like, come on, guys. Okay. Yes, please. It's nice to have a question.
What was the hardest decision you made?
Something go wrong?
Your entire career. What was the hardest decision you made in terms of choosing career path? Or choosing what technology you want to do? For instance, you could still do AI, you could access to it. What was the hardest decision you made? Would you say there was a difficult thing you use that you had to take?
Okay. I got the question. Okay. So the actual hardest decision I had to make is not really a technical decision, but it was the decision that I made to drop out of school. You know, because at this point in my career, you know, I am starting to do a lot of things. I've built company. I've other companies that I'm like a partner in, and I weigh my options and so that, you know, if I focus full time on this employment stuff, not employment stuff, but on my career, it's going to be better for me in the long term because I will have real life experience. But I wouldn't encourage anyone to drop out, especially when you do not have a plan. Because when I came to it, that was my plan to just drop out, like what Mark Zuckerberg did or what Bill Gates did. But I didn't have any escape plan. So eventually, when something solid came up, I then left. But to answer his question, like hardest decision in terms of frameworks to choose or what technologies to use, I think I never really was committed to any single technology, but I've always followed my curiosity, and anything that interests me, I just try. I think I probably tried almost all the programming languages, although I can say I'm very good at a very few, maybe 2 or 3. But any programming language that you can name out there, I've probably done a test program just to see if I like this or if I don't, or if this is interesting. And then you find 2 or 3 that you're really good at and you perfect your skills. Eventually you find opportunities in that area.
Okay. That's personally, I would just like to say thank you for that. I mean, for the honesty in that. Firstly, just straight up saying that, look, when I came to school, the plan was always to drop out, but also talking about how hard that is, because in any case, it's a little challenging. In Zimbabwe, it's even more challenging. So for starters, we can definitely all commend you on that courage. And at the same time, we can all definitely take it with, like, how can I say this? I don't say with a grain of salt, but more of like, take it as proper words of wisdom, where it's the general point I think he's making is have your own plan or know what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go. And if you do that, you can at least have an idea of understanding that not everyone's path is the same. That's always the case. Not everyone's path is the same, okay? Whether it's big figures like Bill Gates or Mark, or it's you, or it's me, or it's anyone else. You know, we all go through this differently. For some people, for me, communities like this have been the biggest help, and they are what has taken me to where I needed to. And even, but I can even acknowledge that it's opportunities like the Portras thing, which at the time came through school, was what at least jump-started a lot of his stuff. So chase after what you want. Don't be afraid to chase after it, and acknowledge that we all work differently and these paths are all different. And usually, if you trust yourself enough or trust what you do enough, you'll probably end up in the right spot. I think that's the main takeaway. Okay, 2 more questions. I think we'll go through these last 2, and then we'll see if anyone else still has one. Cool, but It's just somewhere might reserve for like right at the end. Okay, so it's actually 3 more questions. So let's start with, I think it's Lionel. Isn't Lionel in here? So you couldn't just ask a question in person. Okay, anyway, he asked, okay, so which company are you working for and which technologies are you interested in? Yeah, could you take it?
So currently I'm working for a company that's called in West. Yeah, we use Ruby on Rails to manage our softwares, and the technologies that I'm interested in. I'm mostly interested in blockchain, but that's like on the side, not like on a professional level, because where I'm working right now, we're not using. But I'm thinking of having one of my startups implement something with blockchain if I find a suitable market for it. Thank you.
Next question. So which programming languages would you recommend or that you think are essential for freshmen who want to be a software developer? So in other words, for a beginner, someone who's like which languages are great to start with?
Okay. So before I answer this question, I have to say that a lot of what I now is now because of this program called GitHub Student Pack. I don't know how many of you actually know about it, and it's something that you can apply for student ID, and they will give you access to like a lot of online platforms like hosting, domain name services, some courses, and some other softwares that usually you would have to pay for. And we know in Zimbabwe things that have not everyone has the money to pay for those services. So that's something that you should also look at GitHub Student Pack. So for the programming languages that I would encourage for that are essential for a freshman, I'd say first learn the basics. You know, if you know how to program, like if you have one language that throw a task to you, you can actually build on it. Then after that, you need to like learn the fundamentals of whatever field you want to do. So if you want to go into mobile development, learn the fundamentals first. But that can be boring, so you can mix that with tutorials. That will be like full courses that can be showing you what to do, when to do, and all of that stuff. But then whatever field that you choose, just start with the basics and work your way through it. At the end, you find what you like, and there's opportunities for every language. Find what you like and what you're good at. And then, yeah.
Hey. Okay, so the last question from Linville. The last one was from, I'm gonna go with Patio, so it might be Patio. So please don't hate me if I mispronounce that, I'm very sorry. The next one is from Linville. Hi, Kada. Is it possible to focus on many frameworks and stuff and still have the results like focusing on one thing? So I think what he means is it possible to try out different things and still have essentially the same result as if you really focused on one thing?
Okay, so I think I might be the wrong person to ask because I have ADHD, which so I also have a problem of like wanting to do 1,000 things at the same time, and eventually you don't do a lot. But here's a strategy that I would actually tell you to use, because that's the one that I used. You know, studying a new programming language is this thrill that it has. It's fun, and you're learning something new, and it's like your whole world now wants to focus on that programming language. But it's just starting out. You can try a lot. That's good for like exploring and finding what you actually like. Eventually, you find that you want. Then you can do like a deep dive into it. The thing is, the more you dive deep into a programming language, the more you find things that interest you that you actually didn't know from just seeing it from outside. And maybe for yourself or for the community or for a company, that makes you also focus on one programming language, because these programming languages, they're just tools. It's like, yeah, I'm speaking in English, but I'm not going to go to Aneshona foot and I'm a language one. So it's just about conveying the message, what you want to build and how can you build it, then use the right tool for what you want to do. So yeah.
Awesome. Those who didn't catch it, he was kind of flexing that he can speak 3 languages still. And some of us cannot, just saying. Anyway, good for you. All right, so thank you again so much for that. We're going to be going to our next presenter now, Ms. Heather Mafunga. I had mispronounced that at first. I'm very sorry. Heather, you can just tell us if you're ready, maybe turn on your camera or something, and then we can be sure if we can dial you in. Let me actually just look for your picture here so that I can present that. What is this? Right here. Okay, we just load that up whilst everyone else sort of prepares. There we go. Okay, come from no experience at all. This is my website, might feel like the best accomplishment ever. And that's fine. Okay, so start with this is my website, then go to turning the words this is my website into the color purple, then go to putting it in a nice little paragraph, add a picture on top, add themes to the website, etc., etc. And bit by bit, you go from something that says this is my website to something that looks like has a really nice slideshow that shows automatically and has paragraphs under it and columns and there's buttons to go to other pages and so on. But that's it. Okay, that's how you start. So I know a lot of us hate that in almost every language you learn, the first thing we're made to do is like print hello world. But it's because they're trying to give you that same framework of like start here and then go bit by bit into everything else. So yeah, it sounds repetitive and weird and cliche, but really that's how you get into it. So don't be afraid. Just go for it. Usually it tends to work out. Okay, I think that might be Heather coming back in. Yes, it is. Awesome. Let me just admit her into the meeting here. Hey Heather, sorry, you probably had a few technical issues. Trust us, we understand. We didn't have this morning. You can just tell us as soon as you're, oh, sorry, yeah. Let me just give you privileges to present. You can just tell us as soon as you're ready to speak. There's already a question waiting for you. And yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Indeed, my sensor disappeared and then my hotspot decided to act up. But I'm back now. Please, what is the question? Hello?
Sorry, I had turned off my mic, I didn't realize. So you've got 2 questions. The first one was the one about both of them are coming from one person. She's really interested, by the way. So the first one was the one about if you have to take a digital marketing course, considering some people seem like, you know, they're naturals at this stuff nowadays, and you have even celebrities making billions of dollars of posting the right pictures on Snapchat or whatever. So do you have to take a course for it?
Yes, I think it's important to do so, just because everyone these days says that they can. So when you have your certificate and it says you are certified, that means even employers, when they're hiring you up here, they know you're qualified to do what you're going to do. So ones are always, you know, between 3 to 6 months. Weeks, when it's like weeks, like 6 weeks, it's not comprehensive enough for you what do they call this? Projects as well, which is very, very important to be able to show projects like results, like this is what I've managed to build, or this is what I've managed to achieve with this course. Someone can then see that you can apply theory to practical. So please get the courses. Please do the courses. And if you're interested in Google AdWords, sure.
So they got cut out again. Wow, I can imagine what's going on your end. Really sorry about that. Oh, it might. Sorry? It might actually be my end as well. Oops, that's embarrassing. Let me see here. Is the school internet not working? Because I know it tends to have issues, and that's why I'm not really trying to rely on it for this. Yes, sometimes I use the Pirate Bay. Sue me. Okay, so my Google's working just fine. I think it was just Teams having a few issues. I think we can. I think I can continue here, but okay. Okay. I think to add on to what you were saying, certification does matter in our field. If you've been in any of our sessions, you've heard me talk about certification at least once or twice. And it still matters for digital marketing. So what you were saying was, yeah, you can definitely just do it and be good at it. But people, companies, especially if you want to be employed, tend to want some kind of record they can track, right? And having a certification tends to give you a record. It's like a CV for digital marketing, sort of, in terms of how much of the basics you know or how much of it you know. So if you have a certificate, then they can at least know, okay, so if we were to tell them to take on Google Ads today, they wouldn't have a problem. If we were to tell them to sort out a marketing budget for Facebook or Facebook products like Instagram and so on, they wouldn't have a problem. If we told them to run a YouTube ad campaign, they wouldn't have a problem. But if they're taking someone who's, yes, has, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, yes, there's a chance that they might be very, very, very capable on Instagram, but then you're like, okay, so we need a Google ad campaign by next week. Someone's telling you they can't do Google ads. That's a bit of a problem. So yeah, as I said before, a skill can exist even without the education for it, but education tends to help you sort of branch out and check out multiple stages and then be in a point where you are probably on almost equal footing with even someone who's just a natural at something started it on their own. That's the first. That's Heather again. Hopefully we don't have any problems this time. Hey Heather, let me allow you to present again. Let's see. Okay, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can definitely hear you. I guess you can finish off with the answer you're giving. I think you cut off when you're talking about Google Ads.
Yes, I was saying search for Skillshop, basically skillshop.com, skillshop.com to start with Google AdWords and start the standard simplest one.
Okay, and that's for free or it's paid for or?
It's free.
Okay, so skillshop.com, not Skillshare.
No, Skillshop.
Okay, let me just put that in the question and answer for those who need this. Skillshop.com, and there you can check out Google Ads courses. Yeah, Google Ads course. I think you'll probably find something to get started and have an idea. Please continue. Hello, Heather? Okay, yeah, there's definitely giving her some issues on her end, I'm sure. Really sorry, I mean, she was giving out some good info here. Though, it seemed like she was back for a second.
Hello. Hi, Clint. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. So okay, skillshop.com, Google Ads. Anything else you want to add?
Okay, this internet.
Do you want to add anything else, or are we going to the next question? Ah, damn. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so guys, whilst we wait for Heather, we're going to move on to our next presenter, maybe. Let's just see if we can give Heather a minute. If she can try and jump in on time, we can definitely let her finish at least the last question that she was asked, because it was a very, very important question that I think only she would be able to answer. Whilst that's happening, we can get ready for our next presenter. Let me make sure that I queue up these videos in the best manner possible, and then I play them for you guys in a way that both you guys and the people online can get to properly listen to them. Let's see here. Sorry, just give me a second. Okay. Okay, so let's do this. All right, so let me make sure I do these accordingly. So it's 2, 3, 4, so they should be in this order. Let me open up. I think VLC will allow me to queue them correctly. Just run this. Yeah, not now, buddy. Okay, so 2, 3, 4. Okay. Just double check if Heather is. I think she still hasn't been able to connect. Okay, so I'm gonna try and get the videos for the Rainbow playing here. Okay, sorry. Let me share another screen. Okay, so I'm gonna try and play them from here. Hopefully you guys can hear them properly. Let me first send this to the live. 1, 2, and we can get Ruimbo is in the group, so she can still answer your questions. She said she's open to answering questions. We'll just play this first, and then she can answer the questions after that. Cool. Okay. Cool. Okay. All right, let's play this. 3, 2, 1. Yes. I think it wasn't giving device audio exactly. That's why. I'll have to restart this just for the sake of everyone who's online because they couldn't hear what was going on. So I just got quite a few complaints about them not being able to hear anything. So I'm going to restart the videos right from the start because
And
I want everyone to just, have a proper fair shot at this. So you can see here, just make sure everything's working properly. Okay, so I'm going to play that again. Very sorry for everyone who was online who couldn't hear this. Let's try and play that again. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
And I'm so sorry I could not be part of the live event. I had some challenges, but I hope this helps you, this talk helps you. So I am a programmer, a recent graduate, a tech enthusiast, a robotics technician, an entrepreneur, and also upcoming cloud engineer. And I'm going to be speaking about my tech journey, how I started to where I am now. I'm going to try and summarize it quite a bit because there's quite a lot to talk about. So jumping straight into it, I started programming at the age of 14. And it was because I'd seen some students at my high school program and I thought this was pretty cool, and I had one be my first mentor and teach me how to do Visual Basic programs and help her with a project. So that was really great because my next mentor also came when I was in high school. She was a lady from Tech Women. She was a telecommunications technician and she introduced me to a network of people that I am still in contact with today, and some I have the privilege of calling friends. When I also share the knowledge with other people. So that would be my first point for this talk, which is share your knowledge within your tech journey. If you hear of a hackathon, let others know. If you hear of a seminar just like this one, let others know. If you hear of a new programming language, an article that interests you, let the world know. Put it on your LinkedIn, put it on your Facebook. I know it's nerdy, it doesn't look so cool, but it's amazing how a lot of people would want to know about the things that you find interesting, and they could also find it interesting. Fast forward, I was now doing robotics. I did some robotics as a robotics technician and as a mentor for 2 teams for the first Global Challenge. And this experience taught me that the more I taught people, the more they taught me. Because I was great at programming, I was teaching the children JavaScript, but what they taught me was mechanics, electronics, and a whole lot of physics concepts that I'd forgotten after writing my O-levels, and given that experience, it gives you a passion for what you do. It enhances that skill that you'd have started with. It ignites that fire that you already have within you for the tech industry. Learning something new is always exciting. The same thing as your tech journey, it needs nurturing. So you need to continuously learn something new. You need to do something new. You also need to enhance the skills that you have. So I heard someone talk about the new script, the new language, to see if you can also add on to that, to always update your GitHub or to update someone else's project, to contribute to it. It's always a great learning experience, but as we help each other in the tech industry, we also build a community, which is my next point. Make sure that after networking, you build a community that will help boost your career. The people you have around you can help elevate you, or you can be in the same position the whole time. It's great to know new people. It's great to learn from those new people and to always stay humble and know that someone has something new to teach you. Moving on would be a point on building communities. As much as we build our own tech community as people who are programmers, developers, technicians, we also need to think about the communities around us. We develop things, when we make new apps, when we make new web applications, to think about the communities around us. And that means we are developing beyond the tech. we are thinking of innovations that are human friendly. We are thinking of people's privacy. We are thinking of ways to make people's lives better. We are thinking beyond what makes us excited. We are making something that will get the next person excited as well. And that is truly the highest pinnacle of tech. It makes everything else make sense when you combine community, when you connect people together with your innovation or with your web application, with something that you made. It's a whole different feeling. And I encourage you to pursue that journey whenever you're developing something, whenever you're solving a problem, you think of the community. So instead of thinking of what tech to make, you are thinking more who to make it for and how it will make their lives better and how you and that person can also benefit. Because at the end of the day, when you're building a career, you're also building the financial part of it, which is monetizing your apps and your web applications or whatever innovation that you does make. But I'll leave you guys with this, with the point where you should never limit your career to where you are. Because at the end of the day, when you're building a career, you're also building the financial part of it, which is monetizing your apps and your web applications or whatever innovation that you does make. But I'll leave you guys with this, with the point where you should never limit your career to where you are. Your solutions, your innovations, your aspirations should never be limited to Zimbabwe. Should never be limited to, oh, I'm just a programmer. They shouldn't be limited to, oh, I didn't learn this in high school, or I didn't do this in varsity. It should always be a journey that you take steps to develop yourself, to develop your skills, to be able to do more. When you think of your goals and things, you should be challenged to do more and better. Travel, work remotely, learn from how other people do things and try and integrate it to how you do things. Find a formula that works for you, but also learn from others. And thank you for giving me this time to speak to you. I hope this was helpful.
Okay, so I know there were a few. Sorry. So let me just see. There's something in the question. You're playing has no sound. Someone again was talking about sound. It was a while ago, so I'm hoping it got fixed later on. But okay, I'm very sorry about the sound issues at first. Really sorry about that. Let me just load up Rainbow's picture here so you guys can take a look at it also. Again, thank you so much, Rainbow, for your presentation. It's a shame that, look, right off the bat, Zisa ruined everything for everyone. Let's just say that. The whole city seemingly been having power issues, and we were lucky enough or fortunate enough to be able to continue today. But our other presenter, our fourth presenter, Mr. Hakeem Munene, actually called in saying, unfortunately, he did try to find some ways around it, but he cannot be joining us today. He would have been our final presenter. Mr. Hakeem, if you do watch this later, thank you again for being involved. He's already been on a Students Ambassador guest event. He was on a guest event for last year. So you guys can check that out on the YouTube channel, I believe. Yeah, it's still there. But even still, would have been great having you here. Ms. Rimberg, thank you so much for your time, for your effort. It really is appreciated. She did say she's online, so if you have questions, you can ask. Let me just first let me just first make sure that she's able to at least respond. But maybe just to give a quick version or a quick summary in case you guys didn't hear properly. Hi guys, so sorry for that. So sorry for that. Connection issues on my end. Let me just try and reconnect this. It seems like even Roomba's also having connection issues with her end. Hopefully those can get fixed up sometime soon. Let me just double check on something whilst, sorry for that. Just double check on something whilst that's going on. Okay, yeah, you're gonna finally caught up with me. Anyway, to continue though, a lot of the key points of her presentation were building a community and having people you learn from or learn with that that allow you to grow in your career, even if, let's just say, okay, Okay, let's just try this again. I don't know what's going on here. Why is it having these problems? I do not need them. Thank you very much. Can you guys still see here? Or it's still having? Yeah, it disconnected from this. That's why. I think the computer tried to connect to block for whatever reason. Anyway, as we were saying, a lot of our key lessons. Number one, having a community to learn from, or people you learn from that allow you to grow or allow you to advance. Some who apparently for her have actually become friends, which is always nice to see. Number two, always being open or willing to learning. She was talking about how a lot of the kids that she was teaching ended up being the kids that taught her something. So this is actually a bit of a syndrome or a problem in our field, because here's what happens. We have a field that attracts a lot of very intelligent people. And what often happens with very intelligent people is what we call smart guy syndrome. You always want to be the smartest person in the room, or you always want to show that you're the smartest person in the room. And don't think that ends in high school or in university. Trust me, you walk into companies and meet people like that. So the best way to deal with that is to often be open to learning from others. You can't always know everything. No one on this earth knows everything. The best thing about humanity is that all of us learn differently and all of us learn different things. There's people on the street know stuff that I don't, and I can learn something from them. So always be open and always be willing to learn new things and receive sort of knowledge. Because once you can do that, then you can truly like progress in life. Sorry. I'm trying to talk to remember here so that she can start answering some questions. Number two, right, would be number two would be oh no, number two was already being open to learning, right? I believe it was kind of the third one. Number three was about when you're creating solutions, or when you're creating programs, or when you're creating whatever you want to create, always think about the community. Now, these are two different forms of community. The first one is the community of people who hope you learn and grow, something like this. The second one was, what is this? The second one would be the community around you. So in other words, you want to make an app. As great as it is to make an app that works for everywhere, and really it is, it's also really great if you can make an app that works for your immediate community, that works for the people who are immediately around you. If you're in Zim, try and make an app for Zim. Why? Simple. A developer that's coming straight from Google, from California, will not understand the problems of eco-casino needs that cause money. They won't, okay? They won't understand the problems of sometimes people want to run away from certain charges, right? If you're trying to use swipe. They won't understand the problems. Sometimes people need offline maps because we just need to know where the place is more than we need the traffic data. So you're the best person to make an app that works for the community around you. You guys are that. And since you guys are the best people for that, try and think about that when you make it. Try and think about what benefits a person most. Try and think about what would actually be the most effective in the situation. Because once you start to do that, that's when you often come up with a better product. And as you said, it won't just be for them, it'll also be for you. Because one, making a better product just means your product is the one that's going to be preferred anyway. Number two, if you're trying to make money out of it, you're likely going to make more money. And you should think about it. Remember, this is not just for fun or for passion. These are jobs. Okay, this is our career choices. So yeah, you should definitely get a good buck out of it. Always be ready for that. So the other thing she talked about, which I think would be sort of the last and final thing, would be sorry, just give me a second here. the last and final thing would be, don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself according to skill set. Don't limit yourself according to country. Don't limit yourself according to, I don't know, gender. Don't limit yourself according to race. Right? I always say this. People ask me, how did I become a Microsoft Student Ambassador? How did I become a Google DSC lead? Here's my answer. I applied. That's all. I did nothing special. I didn't, I don't know, go and dance in front of a few people. I didn't go talk to my ancestors. I applied. That was it. And that was enough. You'd be surprised just how many opportunities are waiting for you out there if you actually just decide to go for it. So I'm not promising that it'll always be easy. A lot of the time, unfortunately, it's not. But it often is worth it. So don't limit yourself. Don't try to look down on yourself and think, well, I'm not as good at this, or I'm not as knowledgeable as that guy. Or I'm not as, sorry? Yes. Okay, so I think Rumbo is back online. Rumbo, if you're online, you can just leave a hey in the question and answer section, like just say hi or leave a wave, whichever works best for you. It's all fine. It's open. You can find it at the top right corner if you're using a phone. If not, the questions can come to you on WhatsApp, because since we're currently talking on WhatsApp, and you can answer them there. But yeah, so the fourth part was not limiting yourself. That was the biggest part. So I think that's really the major points of it. Yeah, I think, okay. We're gonna send the questions on WhatsApp to Rimbo, and she'll answer them, and we can continue from there. Oh yeah, another thing that she talked about: share your work, share your interests, share what you're into, share events like to other people. That's also pretty important, because you'd be surprised. Social media has basically become an online TV for a lot of people. She was talking about digital marketing. Digital marketing is not just about products and stuff, it's about marketing yourself. So if you're someone that, I would like to think, okay, fine, let's be honest, maybe this did help when I personally applied to the Microsoft Insiders Hackathon that made me end up traveling to Microsoft's headquarters in the US. I'm sorry? Oh, you're charging, sure, man, no problem. I'm hoping this doesn't mess it up. There we go. Where's camera? Okay, here we go. Right, so remember said we can send the questions here. We'll just do that. But as I was saying, that whole thing, I won't lie, probably one of the things that allowed me to get accepted for that program was probably, yes, my social media did reflect towards having a great interest in tech. I write for a tech blog, it's called the Zimbabwe Perspective. They probably, I post a lot of my articles on my Twitter, especially. They probably looked at it and saw, oh, okay, so this guy has loved this forever, right? So that's what made them a little, I guess, biased towards me instead of others. Because there were apparently 2,000 participants, and somehow I got chosen. So yeah, that was pretty amazing. So yeah, use your social media responsibly, you can say that. Try and I would say personal tips. Twitter is actually very, very good for finding links in the developer community, B, marketing yourself and marketing your developer resume. So try and use that well. Have a Stack Overflow page, have a GitHub page, have a LinkedIn page. I know LinkedIn always seems like boring and super professional and stuff, but it does help. Okay, I've met people who will not talk to me anywhere else but on LinkedIn. The program manager for Google's developer student program, like the person who actually works at Google, who's in charge of all DSCs around the world, he likes to talk to me, but only on LinkedIn. So things to think about. But yeah, anyway, let's start actually asking Rumba some questions because I'm sure she's waiting. So first question, again, obviously anyone who's online, the question and answer section, you can just leave your questions here. We'll copy and paste them onto WhatsApp. Don't worry about not being able to text her directly. So anyone who's got any questions at all. For the record, just to go off of her resume sort of again, she talked about having a background in robotics, being a cloud engineer, started doing stuff like Visual Basic at 14, I believe. Don't be intimidated, I know some of you already were. Yeah, I'm sure it's at Africa University, I know that part. And yeah, let's okay. So here's a question from Takutwa. He sent it. Okay. Anyway, he wants to know what her current job is and where she's working. Technology and skills, I guess some of it she's mentioned, but still, I guess we'll go into that. And day-to-day technologies that she uses. So let me send this to Rainbow and see what she will say about that. Okay, so I think she's typing. Let's just go into that. She has a resume that she sort of sent me, and I think you guys might want to just hear it because it's really interesting. Okay, her words, not mine. She said, I identify as a roboticist, programmer, and science enthusiast. I'm a research computer science honors graduate from Africa University, current cloud architecture student at the Andela Learning Community, and a techpreneur. I have a passion for robotics and emerging technologies. This passion has driven me to work with technology groups, associations, and institutions. I've worked with Tech Women, which is an organization/society, on empowerment campaigns. I was a part of the event planning team, Soreka and facilitator for Facebook Developer Circle Harare, and volunteered to help the Zim Robotics team that represented Zimbabwe in the first global challenge from 2017 to 2019. Currently a co-founder of a VR-related company that's launching soon. So impressive, to say the least. But yeah, let's see. She's still answering the question. She's still typing. So yeah. I think if you have other questions, it might be good if you ask them now so that I just type them in advance and then she answers them one by one rather than we wait, especially since she's typing them rather than just, saying it out loud. So any questions, please? Anyone who's online? Okay, I have one question online, but again, okay, so your answer to Takuto's question. He's a freelance developer, digital marketer, and full-time lead for a startup called QuickTill. They recently got second place in a Portraz Innovation Drive. He's still sending the rest of it. Come on, guys, questions, please. Anyone, everyone. I'll start picking people as far as people in class are concerned because I know some of you's names. So be ready for that. Okay, let me type out the second question that's online. Okay, let's see. Today, Audrey, right? Hi, Audrey. I'm good. Any questions? Not even one. Okay, so you wouldn't want to ask, I don't know, a fellow woman what it's like to generally work in tech and Zim? Because that's always a weird and interesting space. You guys tend to come up against a lot of situations or even challenges that guys don't face. You sure you don't want to ask anything about that? Oh, that would be the business. Yeah, take my question and use it as sure. Okay, let's go with that. Let's see. I'll just type that next to the other one. Okay. Okay, so I wrote that. All right, next one. Hey man, what's your name? Denzel. What's up, Denzel? No questions. Not even one.
Yeah.
What are you doing right now? As in like program. E-commerce. Okay, cool. Let's see. Is there anything that I can relate to e-commerce or you're not interested in building websites or something? You sure she could help you out with that? Not none. Okay, that's fine. That's fair. What's up, man? What's your name? Yeah, you. Sorry? Good, Tinashe. Can I call you good? I'm good. How you doing? No questions. No, okay, fine. So what you don't know, what you don't know. So what maybe you're saying some of the stuff that Roomba was talking about was super advanced or beyond your level. Okay, what is at your level right now? Right now, what is at your level? Do you know why I'm asking this? You know that this person said that the part of her job is actually teaching other students, right? So she's the type of person who's used to working with beginners. Hence why I'm saying, ask what you do. You don't know what you don't know, fine. Ask what you do.
Like, do know about coding? It's a thing.
It's a thing. And I'm a beginner. Okay, what did you want to give you tips as a beginner? Okay, sure. Oh, damn, I'm sorry. Yeah, switch the video out with. Yeah, sorry. See, so what tips would you like to give a beginner? Okay. Another beginner tip. Sorry? Okay, yeah. Languages to start with. Okay, cool. Sid, any questions? Oh yeah, you're actually trying to hide behind the cat, hide behind that. Wow. Okay, fine. Let's see. Now we have literally 3 ladies at the back of the classroom, and all of them don't have a question. Nah, that's crazy. Hi there, Lorraine. No questions. None. How? Zero at all. Okay, fine. Sorry, but I'm coming back to you because you seem like the most talkative person in here. So I'm gonna come to you and your little sidekick there is hiding in the corner, thinking again. But hey, writing on a paper doesn't mean you're doing anything important. We're asking you. Yes, you. Okay, yes, you. Definitely you. No questions whatsoever. And what was your question? Okay. Well, okay. So that we.
I want to know what it's like working in an industry. Like her being a woman, I'm sure that it's like. So I want to know what it's like working in.
Okay, it's number 2. What else you got? You wrote down a lot of things, so it's gotta be a lot of questions. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, the first question actually had a lot because he's still answering that. So yeah, about the day-to-day tech that she or technology that she has. Technology. She said, I'm not sure here, but let me try my best. My skills include G high performance computing, or rather high performance computing. I think the G was a misspell. Using Linux operating systems, languages. We have C, Java, Python, JavaScript, and PHP. Her main focus right now is Kubernetes, That's for cloud computing on the Google Cloud platform. Also under the certified digital marketer. Digital marketing really seems like it's something that a lot of people are jumping into. Just add it to your skill set. Who was doing e-commerce? Yeah, something you should have, trust me. Day-to-day tips, you'll get back into this. Okay, right, tips for a beginner, right? Choose a language is based on your input. Have a specialized stack of languages that you use and build from there. Okay, what he's basically saying here is what you wanna build. I think that's what it is. Like right now, right off the top of your head, what's something you would want to build?
Okay, so I understand that there are certain languages that are like in certain areas.
Yeah.
So I've heard, for example, Python is mostly linked to data science.
Well, yes and no. Like, okay, yeah, I get it though. Okay, you can continue, please.
Yeah, so you just can't go in any language.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm asking, what do you want to build? Like, what's something? Okay, if I said right now, good, like where you are, what's the first thing you would want to build? Like, if you just had the superpower to build any app off the top of your head, what would you want to build?
Any app.
Any app, not just any app. So,
But I discovered a website that I liked it. And I also went to discover mobile development.
Yeah.
And I also liked it.
So,
But those languages I heard.
yeah, okay, so let's start with that. Let's start with maybe websites. Have you ever tried to build one? Okay, and how far did you go? Like, I'm assuming you tried some HTML, a little bit of CSS. Did you go into JavaScript maybe? Okay, maybe, so you've done some CSS, you've done some HTML. Maybe let's start going into JavaScript, right? Start learning like to build a full, completely working website and get into that. Maybe you can even try other things. You can try PHP. That's a little easier for some people because you learn the front end side, you learn the back end side. It's one thing, right? And you'll see, like, the best thing I can tell you is go into projects. Do a little project, Yako, like your own, right? Just try and build something that does something. So I want a website that, I don't know, takes comments from people and displays them at the bottom. Start there, right? Finish that. Then maybe go a little bigger. It has this amount of pages. It has user accounts. Go there. Then maybe when you finish that, you're like, okay, now I can try building a freaking social network if you want. That's just web-based. And then do that. And then same thing goes with mobile, right? As I was saying, you can start with a simple hello world. Okay, we did a Xamarin app, though people didn't really finish it, where the job was that it's, you know, those numbers which are like the call 555 Clint or something like that, right? Like, okay, you've seen them maybe on American commercials, especially they'll be like call 333-555 BAT or something like that, right? And like it was a program that basically takes the numbers on a keypad and turns them into those last 3 letters, last 4 letters. That's something really simple. But then you go from something like that, and then maybe now you're on an app that, I don't know, that works like a proper app, connects to the internet and gets some content from there or something like that. So it's all about like scaling, you know, small steps forward and you go big like that. And you don't really have, you can learn more than one thing at a time. It's okay. You can say this week you're doing your web-based stuff. Next week you're trying out what's it called? Mobile. It's fine. Some of these languages, the good thing about them, now we have frameworks and stuff. You have things like Flutter, you have things like Xamarin. You can build something for web and for what's it called? And for mobile with Flutter. You can build something for web and, I mean, for desktop and for PC with Xamarin. So like, you can even try and learn different things at the same time. But it's just like taking steps. The good thing is though, you're in the right place. Okay, this is literally what we're all about. So we can definitely try and help them. Just send some messages my way, send some messages in the group, promise it to someone they try and help you out. Cool? Awesome. Okay, So, right, the question about, okay, here's how I phrased it. You can tell me if it was correct. I had said, what is it like working as a woman in tech in Zimbabwe? Challenges you faced, opportunities that are there, and maybe just the general reaction that people to your workplace. What she said was, there's more space to be taken by women in tech, and the challenges go beyond the surface. It's more of a social challenge that tends to affect women in tech. We have the opportunity to engage the community in supporting women in tech as they build their careers. She's still typing the rest of it, so I guess I could wait for the rest of that answer. But I think that's generally what it comes down to. Would you maybe want to further go forward with that question, or that's enough? That's enough. Okay. Sorry. Oh, someone sent me a message. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Similar question, but maybe more detailed. Yeah. She's still typing, so I guess we can try and continue there. Thank you, by the way, to the person who sent out the question. For the record, if you're scared to say a question out loud, you can send it to my WhatsApp, and then I'll send it to the video. Because some of you are shy, like super shy. I have no idea why, but yeah. I have no idea why, but it's okay. Whatever works best for you guys. I'm not here to try and interrupt or, you know, cause any problems. Okay. Great. So Blessing, who's in one of our groups, has actually sent the Skillshop link from oh, dude, why didn't you tell me to do that? I might owe this person money for Wi-Fi. Okay. So Blessing was actually in the group, sent the Skillshop link from Heather's presentation. So you can go check that out for those who may be interested in digital marketing, even just finding out about it and so on. This would be a really good chance for you guys to get into that. So I've sent it in the question and answer section. It's skillshop.withgoogle.com, but I'm sure you can find it. Even I'm pretty sure if you say Google Ads beginner course Skillshop, if you search for that, you could probably find something along the lines of that. But yeah, okay. Yeah, Rainbow's got a lot of typing to do. I think I'll tell her to send voice notes after this. It might be a little easier for some of you. Okay. So we've covered that. She's still talking about what it's like being a woman in tech. Let's see here. Tinashe, no questions? I mean, you're co-hosting this thing, so. Anything? Sure, no problem. Totally fine. I just don't want to seem like I'm crazy and talking to myself up here, so that's why. Yeah, that's the general gist of it. But look, guys, I think another thing that I talked about, which I really would push to you guys again, community is very important. Okay, I get it. School has been weird for all the people here, the people who started learning in the past 2-3 years. So you've had really weird semesters. You come as like maybe just one group of people, so like part ones only, or you come you come for 2 weeks and then you go home. So it's been a little more different for you guys to just generally meet up in groups like this, because you only met up for maybe class and maybe with your one group of friends. But community is very, very, very important in our field, because for me, that's been the difference maker. our field, as much as it's about being intelligent and as much as it's about skill, it's really not based on just that. There are so many people out there who are so good at coding, who are so good at fixing technical problems. They don't have jobs, or they don't have high-paying jobs. They're looking around all the time. Why? It's simple. They didn't know the right people to talk to, or they didn't know the right people to be around. Yeah, the problem with in Zimbabwe, when we hear the term networking and so on, we start thinking corruption, because of like, oh, so they use their friend to get a job. But that's not always it, okay? If I'm working at EcoNet or at Cassava today, right? And I know that I need part 3 interns, and I was a part of this club when I was still at school. It's very likely that I'll at least send applicants to whoever is still in this club, even when I'm out of school. That's not corruption or cheating. That's just, you know, trying to help out the community I grew up with. If, let's say, one of us has a startup here and they need a JavaScript developer, if they know that someone who's in the club is very good at JavaScript, there's no point in looking somewhere really far. They'll just probably look at whoever's closest and then use that guy to be their JavaScript developer. It's not wrong to do that. It's not weird to do that. It's human nature because we're a very social species from the start. The only thing outside of a biological link, of course, that makes your family very important is that they're literally the people who you grew up with and raised you. So in the same way here, we're just trying to provide everyone with that same sort of community where it's people who you sort of grow up with in tech and you sort of get raised by in tech, and you hopefully have a strong foundation to just continue in future. Okay, so 2 answers from Ruimbo now. Okay, advice to the question about women. For the record, let me just reread this. What advice would you give to women entering the tech field? Anything you wish you had known? How do you combat biases in the tech industry? So slightly more detailed version of the first question. Advice. Make sure it's your passion. That way the biases won't hurt as much. I wish I had known that it's okay to be in the space that I was in, that I belonged, that my heels were not inappropriate or loud because everyone else was wearing sneakers. I wish I knew that being true to my identity and difference as a woman was my superpower. And it was better to sooner embrace it rather than later. Let me read that again. Advice. Make sure it's your passion. That way the biases won't hurt as much. I wish I had known that it's okay to be in the space that I was in, that I belonged, that my heels were not inappropriate or loud because everyone else was wearing sneakers. I wish I knew that being true to my identity and difference as a woman was my superpower sooner, and embracing it too. She's still typing more, but I would say that's pretty deep right off the jump anyway. I'm not a woman, but I would at least kind of get where she's sort of coming from, or at least I hope I do, without saying anything wrong or offending anyone. Yeah, I don't know the version of when it's coming from a woman. I do know the version of when it's coming from when you're around different settings. Guys, I hope some of you really do travel. I hope some of you really do go and work in other countries. I hope some of you go and see the world. That's amazing. There is always a bit of a danger, not a danger, but a challenge to it, which is fitting in foreign settings or fitting in settings that you didn't grow up in. She's kind of telling us a much more professional and deeper version of be yourself, and that's because it applies. The last thing you should do, don't get me wrong, don't be afraid to adopt different cultures, don't be afraid to explore yourself. But the last thing you should do is maybe, as soon as, I don't know, you get a job in Germany, right? Everyone else on your team is a different race from you. They might all be white, They might all be Asian, they might all be something else. You don't have to start acting less African or less Black just because everyone else acts differently. They're them, you're you. And definitely don't use your differences as reasons to like be divided and not like each other, but rather the beauty of it is embracing those differences and learning the differences and kind of just coming together either way. Because when that happens, something much more interesting is formed. It's a much more creative space, it's a much more diverse space, and it's a space that can really just create ideas and even projects that might not have existed before. She added more to her answer. Every lady's journey is different. The biases and the abuses are also different. Some can suffer from imposter syndrome. Some may suffer from sexual harassment or just get gender discrimination. What always what always stays true is you following your dream, standing your ground, and staying focused on your goal. The challenges will always be there, guys. How you react to them is what makes the difference. You belong in this industry. Make yourself comfortable. Create space for you and for others in this industry. You'll be good to go. I would say that's. I have no further words to add to that. That's all I'm going to go with. Is there anything else before we round this off? Maybe just one more question or a comment, even whoever feels they want to say something or whoever feels they want to add something. Yeah.
Okay, so just speaking to what Clint was talking about, communities and why it's important and why we try to push it to authoritarian communities.
Translate here so that you can say it into the mic. Sorry.
It's fine. I'm sure you've seen our WhatsApp groups. We try to target like beginners, intermediate developers, and professional developers. And right now it's sort of focused towards beginners because with more part ones joining in, right? And I'd really like to encourage you guys to jump onto those platforms as much as you can. And when you're there, don't expect most of the work to be done in there. Do most of the work by yourself. The idea is you get direction and you get light from what we discuss with you in here or in the WhatsApp groups, but then most of the work you will have to do it by yourself. And I like that. If you were listening to the second presenter, she was talking a lot about how she did some programming and she was doing other courses aside. Development is not supposed to be, I would like to believe it's not supposed to be a full-time job, because I was doing IT during my attachment here and I was also doing some development projects aside. It wasn't easy, I would say that, but it was doable. So as much as I want you guys to focus on one thing and take and specialize with one thing, but you'd like to encourage you guys to also try out new things and don't be afraid to reach out to the people in your community. I've always been saying, guys, you can ask me questions, you can ask anyone in the group questions, but it's only a few people. Like out of a group of 190 people on WhatsApp, you only have like 30 or 50 people who are actually engaged. So don't be afraid to engage us in these WhatsApp groups or even on social media. I know there's some people who want to join this event from other universities. And if they're still online, we do have a WhatsApp group. You can also join it, but I would prefer that you can direct your questions towards our Twitter or Instagram handles. Don't be afraid to reach out to people who are offering you mentorship. And why I think was emphasizing you guys ask the questions is you sort of form a relationship or a bond with her, and that way she'll be more willing to assist or even aid or even answer what questions you have. And especially with women, I have a lot of girls who've been asking me questions about tech, and I really don't have the right answers to give you because the playing fields are different, and our experience tech and how you experience it are completely different. So I actually want to encourage the ladies who are actually part of this meeting to get Muvirimi's contact details, even get his contact details as well. And don't be afraid to app them or even go directly to their DMs because they are willing to help and they are readily available. I'll tell you one thing about tech communities. When I was still in part one, like Microsoft's University was not there. There was DSC, but it wasn't as pushed to us as much as we wanted it to be done. Because it was most of the people who were leading it were developers and in the niche world, it's focusing on the knowledge and skills, and that was good. That was awesome. They built a lot of awesome stuff, and we were introduced to a lot of amazing technologies. But then community and networking, that's where it was like this. So if you have an opportunity to have yourself a mentor who's sort of as similar interests with what you want to do, who sort of as already has experience in the real world and in the industry, you really want to get on board and actually engage them. And trust me, these people are very open and they're willing to help. So aside from just being afraid to try out new things for yourself, don't be afraid to reach out for help, because that's not the problem I have with developers, and it's a problem I used to have myself, where I'll just completely shut myself out from everyone and just work on. Yes, I do have smart guy syndrome. I would like to always act like I'm the smartest person in the room, which is always the case sometimes. I'm joking. I'm joking. Anyway, don't be afraid to reach out to people. And what Clint was saying, and I know there's some people who know their stuff here. For instance, Given right there, very quiet guy, but right. So if you get a chance to talk to him, please approach him. And I don't want to pick up my second, but he knows his stuff, and get some assistance from him. Doesn't necessarily have to be a girl going up to a girl for advice. I'm saying it in this case because the girl are the two are readily available at the end of people. In another case, if you see anyone else, any skill you like, any skill you'd like to pursue, reach out to them. And if you're still in part one, and if you're new to development, don't try to focus on one thing. Try as much as you can to try out a lot of things, and if you need assistance, that's why we're there. And not just myself and Clint, but there are also people in the groups who are in part 4, although they're not part of the committees, but those guys are also willing to help.
Dude,
so,
right off the bat, just so you know, that's a committee member named Wilson. That's a committee member is next to Fadza. That's a committee member is next to Fudza. And Given over there is a committee. So please follow them as a committee. Please. Thank you.
Yeah, because we always receive a lot of requests, and sometimes I really have time to help people, but I do want to help people. But my point is, if you see a lot, we give you more access to these people. It's not because of slow, but it's because we know the things that they're better at that we are not good at, because we do not know everything. And try as much as you can to exploit them. Yes, I said exploit, because really you tend to gain a lot from them than vice versa. So yeah, that's all I'd like to encourage you guys to. And thank you so much for showing interest in pattern and tech. It's not a bad career choice, trust me. There's a lot you can do, from software development, IT, you name it. It doesn't have to be coding. And yes, you don't have to know everything. That's another thing. If you feel like your skill set is limited, or your ability to grasp concepts is not as high as the next guy, don't feel like you're in any competition with anyone. You don't have to know anything. Trust me, connections would actually have more to offer to you than the knowledge you have. Because you might be the best developer out there, as Clint was saying, but you won't have a job. But you might just know the right people, but not be knowledgeable enough. And you could hire a team with those people, and you made project manager with literally zero skill. Trust me, I had a project manager when I was still working who had no idea what code was, but during presentations, he would act as if he was the one who was making it. Not because, and then yes, the students who were working in the background tirelessly, we had no recognition. But that's not because he was just like, he knew the cost to play. He knew how to network, he knew how to talk to people, and he was made project manager. So, which is something I'm also still trying to work on, just talking and making connections and networking with people. But trust me, yes,
I still need to grow my social circles and my network. It is big right now, I know, but it still needs to be grown. But anyway, don't be afraid to engage these people. That's what we really want to tell you. As much as you want to learn from our sessions or WhatsApp groups, but like 1v1 mentorship really helps. So if you can get their contacts, I'm sure we'll post their Instagram handles, Twitter accounts, and phone numbers. I don't know for phone numbers right now.
Rumbo said she can give you a phone number. It's not even a problem. She literally said it's fine. So Rumbo's phone number will be available. Whoever wants to get in contact with her, you can. Sorry, just basically something.
Sure thing. So yeah, don't be afraid to reach out to her directly and try as much as you can to learn from them. And ultimately, I'm just but yeah.
Click on your picture and send that live. I apparently got another text that says people can't see me for those who are still somehow doing what's called live. All right.
No, sir.
Sure. Hey, hi guys. Those still are not.
I'm Clint. I have been the reason behind your pain when you have been joining all these sessions and feeling forced or whatever, but come on, I know you enjoy them and you've learned something. So thank you again. It's always appreciated. Really, it really is. The world's a weird place right now. We're still in a pandemic. People are still trying to get their lives in order. So anyone who spends the time doing this, anyone who spends the time just dedicating themselves to this, we really do appreciate all of it, both me and Tinashe. But yeah, that's the larger part of it. That's all I really needed to say. And yeah, hope this might be our last event for the semester, just because of how things are going right now. There's a chance that exam dates and semester dates might get changed, but it does seem unlikely. So if it is, this is probably our last event for the semester. Not the last event ever. Don't worry, we'll be back real soon. But even if that is the case, well, we hope to see you guys soon. And we hope you guys get inspired by this. As usual, check out Microsoft Learn. Okay, that's a good place to start learning anything. Check out our social media pages. We have a Twitter page. We have an Instagram page, which we really need to focus on, come to think of it. I'm always open. You've got an idea, you've got a question, come and ask me. I might not respond right there and then. I will always try and respond though. That's the larger gist of it, I guess. We'll take a few pictures, post them online just so that you guys can see them. Hopefully you enjoy. But that's about it. Thank you so much to everyone who joined. Thank you so much to Wimbo. Thank you so much to Kuda. Thank you so much to Heather. Thank you to Akeem, who couldn't make it because of Zessa, but I know we'll still probably, if I ask him for his number and so on, we'll still probably be willing to help out and talk to some of you guys. So thanks again, man. It's always a pleasure to meet these guys. So I think you've met all these people, you've seen their stories, you've seen they're different. You've got people who started coding at 14, you've got people who didn't code at all and still took a career in tech. So that shows you the breadth, that shows you just how far this can go. Okay. All you gotta do is have the passion for it. All you gotta do is want to do it, and something will happen. Okay, something will come to pass, and we hope, as usual, it's always something great. So jump right in. We'll talk after this, of course, in the WhatsApp groups. Those will be available. I'll be sending details for Rainbow and for Heather's pages just after this. I will also be sending Akeem and Kuda's pages as well. So I'm not ending the call just yet, just so that you get some of those details. But yeah, that's the larger part. And just give me like 5 minutes to search some of those pages and we'll shut it down. But thank you. See you next one.
So again, guys, you can check the question and answer section for how to find Wimbo, how to find Leather, how to find Kuda. Wimbo's number I will share in the WhatsApp group for those who may need it. Heather as well, I think might be open to that. I'll have to ask you first. Kuda, same thing. But yeah, these guys are all open. They're all trying to help. They all want to help. So I think that'll go on just fine. This has gone on much longer than it was supposed to. Wow. But thank you for everyone who's been patient enough to stay. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience and all your efforts. We'll be leaving the event now. And yeah, bye guys.